Coming out of tonight's show, Monday Night Raw, we were going to have two big things to talk about. What's going to happen at the start of the show, where I knew Roamn Reigns was going to open the show. What else were you going to open the show with but the big news from Roamn Reigns? And how was Ric Flair's birthday party going to be ruined, and who was going to ruin it? Well, going into the show, before anything happened, I figured the end of the show was going to be Becky Lynch putting Ric Flair into the her to wreck everything. That did not happen, and I think WWE, the way they did stuff, was a total waste of everything. What we got tonight was the return of heel Batista, who attacked Ric Flair, just so we can get WrestleMania, Triple H versus Dave Batista, in what will probably be Batista's final match. I have no idea. But quite honestly, with the fact that Triple H is still recovering from a torn bicep, I honestly don't care for this match, and I honestly don't want to see it. Becky did make her appearance, but I honestly think it was lame, it was lackluster, and you had the perfect way to do this. And by the way, it was Ric Flair's birthday, but no Charlotte on this show. It's just the entire thing was lame and lackluster for building that. We did get a match made for Fastlane, which, by the way, Fastlane is not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. And as of right now, we have a WWE Championship match, Kofi versus Daniel Bryan, and the women's tag team titles match of the Boston Hug Connection versus the Samoan Slaughterhouse. That's the only two matches, and that pay-per-view is a week from Sunday. Someone tell me this. If you don't know what the problem is there, I don't know what to tell you. That just makes no sense why WWE has yet to book anything else for this show. I just don't get it. I know, it's a B-level pay-per-view. WWE doesn't really care about B-level pay-per-view. You gotta be kidding me with book any show. This makes no whatnot. We saw Ricochet announce the Black Team take on Rival, and Ricochet is your tag team champions. They won the tag team title, and 2 ago lost to why WWE is doing this to the Revival, a team that you promised you were going to revamp the tag team division, you were going to give them the tag team titles, which you did, and then you're going to push these guys as the face of your tag team division. Why? Why would you do that and then just have them lose to Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and then the very next week have them lose to Aleister Black and Ricochet, who aren't really even a tag team? By the way, this is also confirmation. I'm not saying that I know anything for spoilers, but this is pretty much confirmation that these two are probably going to be one of the 4 teams in the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic. Why would you have these guys team up tonight, and they're supposed to team up tomorrow to take on Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown? So why would you have these two team up on Raw and SmackDown if they're not going to be part of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic? Gargano was only seen in a backstage segment when they were showing red carpets. People getting, they had Shawn Michaels being interviewed by Dawson Fuentes. We couldn't hear what they were saying, but Gargano showed up. He was in a suit and everything, so he didn't wrestle tonight. And Tommaso Ciampa only made a cameo on Raw by being in the stage area with all the superstars for the Ric Flair birthday party. So not all 4 guys were used tonight, which, quite honestly, tonight, for one, if it wasn't for the Ric Flair party and Roamn Reigns, would have been a great place to put these guys out there, because Atlanta, compared to Lafayette, Louisiana, was hot for WWE. There was a hotter crowd, and this would have worked out so much better for those guys. But with the fact that it was Ric Flair 70th birthday and news of Roamn Reigns to open the show practically, everything else in between the first 20 minutes, I think, and the final 10-15 minutes was just filler. Nothing else from this show was going to matter other than Roamn Reigns and whatever they were going to do with Ric Flair and how that was going to go. It sucks that the Becky Lynch thing happened early on in the show and was not seen again. It didn't have the impact I think they wanted it to have. I think one of my ideas for Becky Lynch attacking Ric Flair to piss off Charlotte would have been better, but they want to go with the way that they did, and we'll talk about it later. the show started off with, of course, Roman Reigns coming out with a new shield, a new Roman cancer shirt that I would buy it if it was all the proceeds are going on. Like if you buy this shirt in the month of February, like all of March and leading up to WrestleMania, if you buy this shirt, the proceeds go to the whatever leukemia society that they have. I don't know the actual name of it. I don't know if it's the National Leukemia Society or National, like what it is, but whatever they do for research in leukemia, that would be that would be a reason to buy it. But even though I don't think most of those things work anyway, but yeah. He takes his time getting to the ring, greeting fans at the ringside. Fans continue cheering for him. We see some fans getting emotional in the crowd. Reigns enters the ring as a loud welcome back. By the way, Ada Johnson was in the, it was his wife, I believe, his mother or mother-in-law, and Ada Johnson, which is, of course, The Rock's mom. Anytime she's in at ringside, it's good news. So right there was like anything of there being quote-unquote rumors that he might have to retire or something like bad. You knew it was not bad news. You knew it was probably going to be some of the best news that Roman could put out there. Reigns says he really misses the fans and that there's no fan base like WWE. Agreed. Fans continue with the chants and cheers as "This is your yard" chant starts. Reigns says he's live living some tonight and he used to say this is his yard, but now it's our yard. Reigns says he knows he's been a man with faith and has always believed God was looking out for him, but he was scared and insecure before his leukemia announcement last year. Which, honestly, if anybody has that type, especially in the work that he does, that's just like anybody who is a football player, a basketball player, a hockey player, a baseball player. You come out with an announcement like that, it's going to be a scary moment because you don't know how everyone's going to react. Like, yeah, everybody was like booing him when he came out in October, and then as soon as the announcement was done and over, it was like stunned silence, and then thank you, Roman. So, yeah, that could have went totally a different way, and probably 10, 15 years ago, coming out with that kind of announcement probably would have been a different reaction. But this is 2018/19, reactions are different now. Reigns says he was scared to tell everyone because he didn't know how they would react, but by the time he got home, between the texts, the posts on social media, and everywhere else, if you could find a way to get to me, you got to me. People found a way to get in touch with him and express their support. Reigns says it was completely overwhelming in God's sense. Roman says it wasn't just WWE fans, it felt like everyone was surrounding him with their support. Reigns says so many people prayed for him that God's voicemail was full to the max. He says, this is how strong it felt to be surrounded by everyone's love and grace. Reigns says he could do anything with that type of strength and love. Reigns says support gave him new life, strength, and purpose. He talks about how, as a young superstar, it's important to stake your claim and win titles, and that's still important to him, but he's focused on being able to get in the ring each night, and if he's able to do that, he's going to use the giant global WWE platform to raise awareness and to support those who are in need, just like he was. Fans interrupt with a Roman chant. Reigns says, we advertised this appearance as an update, so let's get to the update. And the fans hit the yes chants, which aren't going anywhere, even though WWE tried to have Dana Bryan kill the yes chant. It's going nowhere. It's forever entwined in WWE like the what chant. Just saying. Reigns said he was going to swing for the fences when he was announced his diagnosis, but he did better than that. He hit a home run. Reigns announces that he is in remission. Fans go completely absolute wild. Reigns then announces that the big dog is back. Fans go crazy again. Fans chant welcome back to Reigns. Reigns thanks everyone again and says he loves them. Michael welcomes Reigns back. And we got Cole and Renee Young, of course. Reigns' music hits as he exits the ring, looking out at the crowd, and up to the WrestleMania 35 sign. He will be wrestling at WrestleMania. Nothing was announced for a match at all for anything. Later on in the night, when he shows up, tells me that he's going to be having his first match back, not at WrestleMania, but at Fastlane. And I got some problems with this right away. We'll get to that later. That's later in the show. I'm not going to sit here and say this was all a work. Like some people are one of those going to be those cretins out there who's going to be like, oh, it was a work all along. 4 months. Now, things that have come out today make things a little bit more fishier and makes it just seem really more convenient that 4 months after being out with leukemia, supposedly, that he's back already. Now, of course, Vince McMahon probably was pressuring him to try and get back as fast as you could. We need you. The one thing I'm going to say about this entire thing is, yeah, Roman's back, and yes, it helps at all. And I'm sure Monday Night Raw probably hit a 3.0 in this episode of Monday Night Raw. At least the first hour was probably in a 3. Just going to say that. We'll find out tomorrow. But the only thing that sucks about Roman being back so far is, A, what happens later in the night, which we'll talk about that later, and I think everyone has seen it coming with the way Dean Ambrose has been acting lately. B, you just called 4 guys up from NXT. How long is it going to be before each one of these guys fall to 1 spear and a pinfall by Roman Reigns? And C, Seth Rollins is not winning the Universal title at WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen. Seth Rollins is going to lose to Brock Lesnar because Vince McMahon is going to get that Universal title back on Roman Reigns as quickly as possible. It's not going to be at WrestleMania. It's going to probably be at SummerSlam. So 2 years in a row, Roman Reigns will be walking out at SummerSlam as your Universal Champion. Vince McMahon Vince McMahon probably was like, brow was sweating because he was like, oh, what am I going to do? I can't keep, I got to get the title off Lesnar eventually to get it on somebody. I don't want to put it on Seth. So, ding, ding, ding. Oh, Roman, you're back? Cool. Well, Seth is going to lose at WrestleMania, and we're going to give it to Roman, probably at Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that's going to happen. Seth is not winning at WrestleMania. This all but confirms that, and Brock Lesnar is going to take that title into Saudi Arabia and lose it to Roman Reigns, more than likely. And, yeah, we'll talk about what happened later in the show, later. But then, out comes Seth Rollins. They have a nice little hug session, and we go to commercial. We come back, and this, the Revival versus Ricochet and Aleister Black. The Revival got jobber entrances. Your tag team champions of Monday Night Raw got the entrance of a jobber. They got jobber entrances. What the fuck? Why are these guys, who are your tag team champions of Monday Night Raw, the guys that you promised you were going to put more emphasis on the tag team division, first losing last week in a match that they shouldn't have been in? Do you not have other makeshift teams you could throw in there? Maybe the B team, maybe the Ascension who aren't doing anything, probably put up against Heavy Machinery because you're not doing anything with them but making them a comedy act. Why would you have the Revival go in there and be given jobber entrances? It really makes these it's just showing that Monday Night Raw tag team titles mean absolutely nothing. The Revival attack before the match, sending Ricochet out of the ring. Black fights them off as Ricochet comes flying back in on his opponents. The Revival gets sent to the outside of the floor. Black and Ricochet dive to the outside at separate points, taking Dawson and Wilder down on the outside. And we go to commercial break. Back from break, and the match is underway as the Revival keep control. Ricochet fights out of a hold by Wilder as Black tags in. Black unloads on Wilder with strikes. Dawson runs in, but gets dropped with a kick. Black with more offense and a 2 count on the Wilder. We see the which, by the way, Renee Young gave these guys an actual tag team name, which I think they should stick with. She called them the Glorious Ones, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. So let's keep that as their tag team name. So when they wrestle again in a tag team, it's the Glorious Ones, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Not Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. It's the Glorious Ones, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Just saying. Wilder and Black go at it. Dawson tags in, but Black fights off the double team with a knee. Black and Dawson trade pin attempts. Dawson drops Black with a big DDT out of nowhere. Black kicks out at 2. Again, Dawson lifts Black on his shoulders, and Wilder goes to the top, but Ricochet knocks him off. Ricochet leaps off the apron with a running moonsault. That pop-up, that one-legged moonsault from the middle turnbuckle to the outside. Takes down Dash on the floor. Black and Dawson go at it. Black catches Dawson with the Black Mass for the 1, 2, 3. Ricochet and Aleister Black are your winners. Why, again, may I ask, are your tag team champions on Monday Night Raw losing to the NXT guys? What's the B team doing? Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins are doing this entire, we can't win a match, Kurt Hawkins can't win a match thing. Why couldn't they be sacrificed? What about the Ascension? What are they doing? Nothing. They got bullied they got beat down, they got shoved into a bunch of equipment later in the night by Otis after making fun of him. That could have been their spot. Why didn't you have Chad Gable and Bobby Roode face off against these NXT tag teams that you made? Why would you have the tag team champions? Yes, I know you want to show that the tag team champions have some kind of competition, but they should not be losing non-title matches for the fuck of it. You have others out there to do this with. And moving on here, we had Elias, and I'm sitting here like, I was like trying to not put two and two together. It was like, we had Aleister Black deal with Elias last week. And by the way, there was some people in the back in WWE saying that it was laughable the fact that Elias had to sell to Aleister Black. That's fucking pathetic. The mentality of this company that says that. Not gonna get into it, but Elias comes out, and first off, Lacey Evans comes down, does her catwalk. I'm showing this stuff off that I'm wearing. Get her in the ring for a singles match. I do not want a Fandango build towards WrestleMania where he has no singles matches leading up to WrestleMania where he faced Chris Jericho. And the highlight of his career was winning his debut match at WrestleMania. Of course, with Fandango back in, WrestleMania 27, 26 or something, his whole thing was he refused to wrestle because the announcers would not get his name right. It wasn't Fandango, it was Fandango. And that was that. Lacey Evans just walking down, let me wave, let me show off what I can do, get her in the fucking ring. The talk about her being the top number 3 in the women when Ronda Rousey leaves is bullshit because she hasn't done anything. Plain and simple. Dean Ambrose walks out and wants Drew McIntyre in a no disqualification match later in the night. We'll get to that later. Comes in, asks Elias, do you know, knows a bunch of songs, and then he says, is it time for Dirty Deeds? Elias tries to attack with his guitar and gets dropped with Dirty Deeds for his efforts. He'll make an appearance later on. Natalya and Ronda Rousey versus the Riot Squad. Nothing match. Paint by numbers tag team match when it comes to a match with Ronda Rousey. Basically, what it is, Ronda Rousey's tag partner or partners are in the majority of the match. She tags in, gets a house of fire, and just destroys everybody. She's going to put Sarah Logan in the armbar to end the match after a Piper's Pit, when all of a sudden, in the most cheesy, anticlimactic way, when are we going to see Becky Lynch next? She just shows up, and whoever the security guard was, he needs to be fired, because she shows up, a security guard is pushing her back, like, no, you can't come. She says something to the security guard, and he's just like, I'm out, have fun. And she comes in, takes out Natalya with a punch, so Ronda Rousey and Natalya win by DQ, hits her a couple times with the crutch that she had with her. Rousey comes over, they brawl a little bit, and then Becky Lynch gets taken away in handcuffs, and that is the last we see of Becky Lynch. Back from break, and Ronda Rousey is helping Natalya up the ramp. She runs back to the ring and demands Vince McMahon gets out here. She wants the match with Becky Lynch, but out comes Stephanie McMahon, and the ratings for Monday Night Raw just went down the toilet. Rousey interrupts Stephanie as soon as she tries to talk and says she knows Stephanie was sent by Vince, but she just wants Becky's reinstated for the match. Stephanie says reinstating Becky is the least of her concerns right now, as she has just saw Becky being loaded into a police car. Stephanie says Becky has been arrested. Rousey tells Stephanie to go tell her daddy to drop the charges and reinstate Becky. Stephanie says it's just not that easy. Actually, it kind of is. All you have to do is call him up and say, yeah, we're dropping the charges. Everything's fine from here. Moving on. But, let's just try and say like it isn't. And they've already determined Rousey's opponent, Charlotte Flair. Fans boo. Stephanie knows that that's not what Rousey wanted, and that's not how she wanted it to go down either. Stephanie says Becky is a victim of her own actions. Becky did this to herself. Stephanie says Becky is on the road to jail instead of on the road to WrestleMania. Stephanie is in the ring by now. Rousey says this is the best for business. this is what the fans want. Lynch versus Rousey. Rousey tells Stephanie to think about what this means for her own legacy. Think hard about her 3 daughters. Stephanie thinks about it for a minute, and so she apologizes, but the answer is a hard no, and the fans boo again. Stephanie goes to leave, and Ronda Rousey stops and gets Stephanie making her exit. Rousey says that's not good enough. She demands Becky be reinstated. Stephanie gets upset, reminding Rousey she works for Stephanie. Stephanie says Vince was right. Rousey and Becky are cut from the same cloth because they both have a bad attitude, but nobody is bigger than WWE. Rousey says Stephanie doesn't control her. She's not one of these others that keeps getting just enough to keep coming back. Rousey says she is not Stephanie's worker. Rousey says Stephanie has made the title that I just got a gaudy accessory. That would actually be Vince McMahon, and they've been gaudy accessories since the beginning of time, Rousey. You say you're a WWE fan. You sound like you're somebody who wanted to be a WWE fan for life, and you sit there and come up with this. Rousey says Vince always talks about making the right decisions. Well, now it's time for him to make the right decision. Rousey looks at the title, lays it in front of Stephanie's feet, walks out of the ring and up top, and leaves to the back. We don't know what the hell is going on, but she gave him ultimatum. Reinstate Becky, or WrestleMania's first ever women's main event is off. Then we go from intrigue to Jinder Mahal versus Kurt Angle. Who gives a flying fuck? Kurt Angle wins with his whatever. With the ankle lock. Don't care. Then we have the moment of bliss segment with Finn Balor. Lio Rush comes out, tells Finn Balor that you don't deserve any of this. Bobby Lashley should be the Intercontinental Champion. Tries to egg Finn Balor into getting a rematch for Bobby Lashley. And then we have Finn Balor taking what Lio Rush was trying to do and firing it back at her. It's like, wait a minute, I beat you for the Intercontinental title. Don't you deserve a match against me for the Intercontinental title? If that's the case, and you want to try and beat me and say that you're better than Bobby Lashley, I accept your challenge. Lio Rush tries to be like, no, that's not what I'm saying, but that's not what I'm saying. But that doesn't work. And Finn Balor and Lio Rush end up having a match. And it was a pretty good match. It was a decent TV match. It wasn't something like, I'm sure they could do better on pay-per-view. I honestly think they could. I would like to see Finn Balor versus Lio Rush at Fastlane for the Intercontinental title in some kind of gimmick match if they want to do it, maybe in a 30-minute Iron Man match. I don't know. It would definitely be something worth seeing. These guys put on a pretty decent match. We go to the ring, and they lock up, and Balor takes it to the corner, but Rush avoids an attack. They tangle, and Rush takes down Balor. Rush with a drop kick for a 2 count. Balor takes control, and they go to the mat for a more back and forth. Rush comes back with kicks and nails Balor into the head. Rush kicks Balor to the floor. Balor comes back and he connects with an elbow to the face. Balor stomps away while Rush is down. Now, as the referee backs him off, Balor drop kicks Rush back to the floor. Balor looks to leap from the apron, but Rush jumps up and takes the knee out, which from here, Finn Balor's knee was compromised. He took his knee out, but I believe Finn Balor landed on Lio Rush. Rush with an Asai moonsault from the middle rope to the outside. Rush with more offense, including 2 big suicide dives, sending Balor into the barricade. Back in the ring, Rush goes up top, but Balor for a frog splash. Looks like he might win it, but Balor gets the knees up, and you can see him favoring his knee afterwards as well. Balor works Rush over now, but Balor is selling a left knee injury. Balor drops Rush into the corner with a big chop. Balor goes up hits a sling blade. Balor charges, but Rush charges and kicks the knee out again. Going for the knee, Rush goes to work on it, taking down to the mat and working over while grounded. Rush goes back to the stomping of the leg. Rush takes Balor back down and keeps him grounded while fans start chanting for Finn Balor. Rush goes to the leg again, but Balor drops him with an enziguri. Balor with more offense now. Rush counters and moves as Balor's knees goes out and rolls him up for a 2 count. Rush drops Balor again with a kick to the head for a close 2 count. Rush can't believe Balor kicked out. Rush lands on his feet for from a moonsault attempt, and Balor levels him with a clothesline. Balor limps to the top, but Rush crotches him. Rush rocks Balor and climbs up for a Frankensteiner. They roll through, and Rush ends up. It was a little botched. This was like botched. He went for a Frankensteiner. They roll through. I don't know what the hell they were trying to do, but Rush ends up with another close 2 count. They trade some shots in the middle of the ring. Balor counters a springboard stunner and drives him to the mat with a 19-16. Balor goes up top, hits the coup de grace for the 1-2-3. Finn Balor retained. We come back from commercial break, and Bobby Lashley is berating Lio Rush because Lio Rush was supposed to get the title shot for Bobby Lashley, and he got the title match for himself. Bobby Lashley is not happy and saying, "Man, you can't do anything right. Can I even trust you?" Lio Rush says, "Yeah," and they go out for what was supposed to be Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. No one gave a fuck. But it wasn't a match because Braun Strowman destroyed both Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. A little bit later in the show, I think I missed a couple things. Maybe Seth Rollins talking about his match against Brock Lesnar. Don't really care. I already know that that's not going to be Seth Rollins' victory at WrestleMania. That's already set in stone. And now we have Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre. No disqualification match set up earlier in the night. Ambrose attacks, and I really didn't care about this match at all. What happened pretty much was Ambrose goes to drop Drew on the top of some steps that was set up. Elias runs down with his guitar to the back of Ambrose, making the save for Drew. Elias throws Ambrose into the ring and turns to Drew and just says, "All yours, Drew." Drew returns, hits the Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3, and Dean Ambrose is done. You think that is it, but no, there's more. After the match, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Elias all start beating down on Dean Ambrose. Out comes Seth Rollins with the steel chair, and out comes Roman Reigns. So again, Roman's not back even 24 hours, and WWE is trying, again, for the 3rd fucking time in 3 years, a Shield reunion. Which, if Dean Ambrose is leaving, this is the last chance they'll be able to do a Shield reunion. Oh my god. Rollins on the stage. Reigns and Rollins march down the ring. They take out Lashley and Corbin on the ramp. Reigns dropping Lashley with a Superman punch. They hit the ring and Elias goes down as Drew. Lashley comes back for another Superman punch on the apron. Excuse me. That's how boring this shit was. Reigns with a big spear onto Drew. Reigns' music hits as he and Rollins hug in the middle of the ring. Rollins and Reigns exit the ring and march up the ramp together as Ambrose rolls into the ring. Slowly recovering, he look up at them. Reigns and Rollins stop at the stage and look back at Ambrose in the ring as we cut to black. Again, WWE just can't fucking help themselves. The Shield didn't work in 2017. The Shield did not work in 2018. The Shield will not work this time. Too much rinse and repeat. This is a new era, is it? Again, where's this new fucking era? Because I still haven't seen it. And we have the Shield, and again, obviously it's going to lead to the Shield versus, let me think here, the Shield versus probably Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin at Fastlane. Probably a 4-on-3 handicap match, adding Elias in there just for them to get beat by the Shield. Roman's big first match back is going to be at Fastlane. And then I don't know what the hell they're going to do with him at WrestleMania. And then after that, Roman Reigns will probably get the title match at Saudi Arabia's next show in May, in which he is going to win the Universal Championship. And between now and 6 months after he relinquished the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns will be your Universal Champion again. That is that. I'm calling it now. It's either going to be at the Saudi Arabian show or SummerSlam. Roman will be Universal Champion. Rollins is not beating Lesnar at WrestleMania. That is quite clear after tonight. WWE got their golden boy back, and whether this was staged, whether this was real, Vince McMahon got his boy cheered. How long is that going to last? I don't think it's going to be forever. There's only so much people can take of bullshit before you get pissed, before we go back to where we were before the leukemia announcement back in October. I mean, yeah, it's great. Yeah, he bought leukemia and beat it again. As far as we know, I'm not going to sit here and be speculative tonight. That's what Unscripted's for. We'll talk about things that came out today before Raw went off the air. Went on the air. That throws a wrench into the legitimacy of this a little bit, and we'll talk about that this Saturday. But again, this is bad for the 4 NXT call-ups that came up, unless this will be the last time we see them on Monday Night Raw and they go to SmackDown. Because quite honestly, if they stay on Monday Night Raw, how long will it be before before all 4 of them are turned heel, and B, how long before all 4 of them get fed to Roman Reigns so the Roman agenda can be back up and running? Moving on here, Bayley versus Nia Jax. Did not give a fuck about this match. Nia Jax loses to Bayley just because. And then we come to the end of the show, which in my opinion should have been Becky Lynch's time to show up and attacking Ric Flair. They could have did the spot like they did with Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey at, a couple days, like the go-home show on Monday Night Raw before Survivor Series, where she was in the back putting the disarm her on Ronda Rousey. You could have showed the same thing, shot the same kind of angle, and had Ric Flair in the disarm her. But no, they went with something else. Triple H talks about how the road to WrestleMania 35 is a little more amped up each night. Hasn't really been that amped up, I'm just saying. Like tonight, he hypes Roman Reigns' return and welcomes Roman back. He mentions how Ronda Rousey laid down the women's title and issued an ultimatum, and how Becky Lynch went to jail. Boos for that. He says all that pales in comparison to why we are here right now, to celebrate the 70th anniversary of what he considers the greatest sports entertainer of all time. Of course, Triple H and Stephanie are in the ring at this time. Hall of Famer Ric Flair, Stephanie introduces Shawn Michaels, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Kurt Angle, and Sting. Triple H says a lot of things have been said about Ric Flair over the years, and there's not a lot more to be said. Triple H says Ric Flair really is a kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing, styling, profiling, all of the hype. He leads us to a small little video package of Ric Flair's career. Stephanie says Ric Flair is the GOAT and the greatest in their eyes, which is why they created this, and she revealed a custom World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt, for Ric Flair. Triple H goes on to introduce Flair as his music hits, but he's nowhere to be seen. The camera cuts backstage and we see Batista dragging a cameraman. He enters Ric Flair's dressing room and slams the door shut. Batista opens the door again and is dragging Flair out by his collar. Fans in the area, of course, are booing. Batista looks at the camera and asks if he has Triple H's attention now. Screams, huh? And then Triple H leaves the ring, runs up the ramp to the back. Triple H heads to the back and stops to check on Flair. Producers and referees are also checking on him as Triple H yells for medics and wondering where Dave went. Flair screams out in pain, moans out in pain as they check on him, and Raw goes off the air. Well, without confirming it, we have Batista versus Triple H at WrestleMania. So far, WrestleMania reads like this: Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey, and Batista versus Triple H. So far, not a good WrestleMania. The WrestleMania is still high up in the air. Do you really think you want to see a 80 to 90% healthy Triple H who just got done 3 months ago? Yeah, 3 months ago with a torn bicep. He just got done ripping his bicep in a match that wasn't fucking necessary to be there to wrestle a Batista who is at 100% strength. Give me a fucking break. No, I don't want to see it. I would have been okay with seeing it if Crown Jewel wouldn't have happened, but it happened, and I don't want to see it now. There's a lot of things that people are going to talk about. Like, honestly, the three big things you want to talk Becky Lynch too, but I think that was lackluster and could have been handled way better than it was. But Ric Flair, Batista's return, and Roman at the beginning was pretty much the only thing that you needed to see tonight on Monday Night Raw, since they did not do what I thought they were going to do with Becky. So, what else can you say? It was 2 segments with a whole lot of filler. Another case of why Monday Night Raw needs to go back to 2 hours, because I'm sitting here tired and exhausted as can be just sitting here talking about this after watching 3 hours of this trash. Monday Night Raw needs to go back to 2 hours, and that is all I'm going to say about that. But that is your Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw again, another piss poor show. I'm pretty sure Brian Zane's going to let this have Monday Night Raw, even though SmackDown probably will have a better show overall. Brian Zane's wrestling Who What Bet is probably going to have Monday Night Raw win simply because of the announcement at the beginning of the show. Yes, it's big news, but still, I think I'm not saying it was work. I don't want to say anything like that right now, but I'm going to look into a couple things, and something just doesn't feel right. I mean, yeah, people are like, oh, he has a new shirt because, oh, that's the way to get, that's just WWE. That's smart. WWE is probably going to sell a lot of those shirts because Roamn Reigns is a hot topic right now. If they were smart, they would also take at least half of the proceeds to those and take it to donate it to leukemia research. That's what I would do. You buy one of those Roman shirts and a portion goes to leukemia donation. They could be doing that. I don't even know. But there's a lot to look forward to this coming week. We have SmackDown tomorrow. NXT is, I believe, not the start of the new tapings. We have Shayna Baszler. Actually, I think it isn't the start of the new tapings because we have Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim. And I know what else. And then, of course, we have Unscripted episode 59 this coming Saturday. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. I would like to thank everybody who subscribed the last week. I bumped up 2 subscribers within 1 week. That is awesome. I'd like to see that doubled for this week. I would also like to get some comments from you guys. Let me know what you think of these reviews that I do, what you think of Unscripted, what else you would like to see me try and attempt to do for this channel. Let me know in the comment section below. Ask questions too. I'll answer anything that you guys ask. I do, if I don't get them right away, I do answer all comments in the comment section, even if they are something that is negative. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Give me some negative comments. Hit that like button. Hit that dislike button because it doesn't really matter which way it goes. I enjoy either one. But find me on Twitter at TheFronson. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFronson08. I will see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Until then, my name is TheFronson, and you guys have a good one.